Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Temple Akiba of Culver City. We're so glad that you're here. My name is Rabbi Zach Shapiro, here with Cantor Lonnie Freilich, Michael Rothbard, our choir and music director, and our choir tonight. We are so glad that you're here with us for our Shabbat evening at Temple Akiba. We have a journey in front of us. Part of that journey is that Covey is becoming a bar mitzvah tomorrow, and we're so excited to welcome you, your family, some friends who are here for the journey between tonight and tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of music in our journey tonight, and we're opening with the singing of Tov Lehodot. It's in our prayer book in part on page 22. In fact, if you take your Sidurim, they should be in the seats in front of you or behind you. And it begins in the Hebrew on page 22 on the third line down. The third line down, but there's only a few words in the Hebrew that are there. This particular melody, written by Rabbi Ken Chasen, intersperses some creative English verses with the traditional Hebrew. So you'll have the Hebrew there, but then open your hearts and you'll hear the English that is intertwined. Our worship continues with the lighting of our Shabbat candles. Kavi, what a nice opportunity to invite you and your mom, Radhika, and your dad, Ben, to come forward. We're on page 2 of our prayer books.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We invite all who are able to please rise for the Kiddush. We're on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinkilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'karta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shamat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinchatanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat. Okay, l'chaim.
Please be seated, everyone. If we open to page 20 in our prayer books, we're going to continue with the singing of Lecha Dodi, this wonderful song of welcoming Shabbat. Kendra, which verses are we offering tonight?
Tonight we'll be offering verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
So when we get to the 9th verse, it's customary to rise and face the entry to the sanctuary, and we actually bow at a couple of those words as Shabbat spiritually enters our hearts. We'll signal when it's time to rise.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litilah. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hi torah
entry.
Oh, we shalom ateret bala, kam besimcha uvtzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala,
Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Friends, having welcomed Shabbat, let's take a moment to welcome one another. This is an opportunity to turn around or to walk around for a minute and a half, 90 seconds, and to greet someone into this prayer space. Friends, if you'll please come back to your seats. Kavi will continue with the chanting of the Chatzi Kaddish. It's on page 26. Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'amad yivrach Yerutei, ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'chayete kol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'vizman kariv, ve'imeru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'olam u'le'omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yithalev, v'yithalal, shemei dechudesha brichu, le'la min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran Belma ve'imeru. Amen. Is that it?
That's
Yeah, that was it.
Covey, bring your book.
That was it for now.
Yeah, you're
There's
going to
more.
be right
Covey,
back
take your
up.
book. Don't sit down, Covey, because the rest of the congregation, don't sit down. Please rise, everyone. We're going to continue on page 28 with our formal call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Page 28.
Arechu et
Yes. Yes. Let's turn to page 33. And the second half of the page, let's read together in the English. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael is on pages 34 and 35. Except for Kavi. Kavi, come on forward. You're going to lead us in the V'ahavta prayer about sharing the words of the Shema with love. It's on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Beautiful job. You can have a seat now. Wow. Our next prayer is the Micha Mocha, which is on page 40. This is a prayer which recalls when the children of Israel crossed the Sea of Reeds from slavery to freedom. And even though we offer this song in every morning and evening service, and even though the prayer itself is thousands of years old, it's as though it were written for our time today. The children of Israel continue to have to cross deserts in hope for a promised land. We continue to have to fight giants. We continue to have to make our cause known and prove to the world that we are on a journey. And even when things often seem safe, like crossing the sea, there's still deserts before us. And so we offer this prayer not yearning back to a time gone by, but realizing our own journey today as a people as we go forward to the promise of Israel. Micha Mocha, it's on page 40. Michael, what key are we in? E minor? We continue now with our Amidah section. It begins on page 46. We invite the congregation to rise once again. Kavi, if you'll please come forward.
Adonai sefatai tiftach uvi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Mechokeo Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berakamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asirim, Umechaye Emunato, Lishanei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'agevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehechayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom, Yehallelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Okay.
You can go back to your seat. Covey, we are so excited to be celebrating with you tonight and tomorrow. Your leadership in our worship tonight has been extraordinary. And just watching everyone, especially your mom, fell with pride is truly extraordinary. And we can't wait until tomorrow as you continue your leadership. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I had the honor and the privilege of spending the past week from Sunday through just yesterday in Chicago, where the Central Conference of American Rabbis, which is the Reform umbrella of rabbis, had our convention. And while I was not, Covey, lucky enough to meet your aunt and uncle there, who are both rabbis, Daniel and Andy Flegel, amazing that you produced so many rabbis in the family. While I wasn't lucky enough to meet your aunt and uncle there, Covey, it was among 450 or 470 other colleagues that I was able to spend those days. It was a pretty packed convention. We studied and discussed and debated everything from the role of AI in our leadership to the face of anti-Semitism in this country, to how to engage the next generations in difficult conversations, whether it be how we see the issue in Israel eye to eye, or issues in the generation gaps in a clearer way. We honored the reality that for 35 years now, the Hebrew Union College, the rabbinical school, has admitted openly LGBTQ students. So before 1990, in order to become a rabbi, you had to either not be gay or be closeted. So there was a celebration and a real honor of the trailblazers who certainly came before me, and the movers and shakers who are out there today. One of the sessions that intrigued me the most had to do with the new the new Chumash, the new commentary that the Reform movement is putting out. So currently we have something that we call the Plout Commentary. It's in front of most of your seats, and that has been a beloved staple of our movement for decades now. But many years ago, the movement made a decision to not only come up with a brand new translation, but to have one book that has both ancient as well as contemporary voices in a way that's conducive not only to Torah study, but to congregational learning as a whole. So we had an opportunity to study just a page from the Torah portion of this week, Pikudei, which is at the very end of the book of Exodus. And the portion talks about synagogue architecture. Actually, it talks about the architecture and the building of the tabernacle in the desert. But what it leads us to thinking about is what makes sacred space. And we had a lot of opportunity to talk as colleagues about where our sacred spaces come from. For many of my rabbinic colleagues, as well as many of you here, a sacred space may have had to do with an outdoor sanctuary at their summer camp. For some of them, a sacred space was a synagogue from their youth. For some of them, a sacred space was a balcony in their home where they've had a chavarah come every month for 20 years. And for some of them, the sacred space that they spoke about was in their heart and soul. So the idea of what makes something holy, what makes something sacred, is truly without boundary. What I personally loved about the Torah commentary and looking at it specifically is that the editors are not bound by employing only Torah scholar rabbis in the commentary. But one person who offered commentary for this specific Torah portion just happens to be the architect of the renovation of this synagogue, who is a renowned architect. And when I saw that her wisdom is now going to be codified in a book that will be used for decades to come, that's something that should make all of us very proud. That Temple Akiba used the visions that she has to create some wisdom for all of us. And I'd like to read for you her commentary to this week's Torah portion. For those who sensed their first glimmer of the divine under a redwood tree, or by the side of a lake at a Jewish summer camp, the American synagogues built within the first 70 years of the 20th century, they often seem to lack a spiritual component. Those built before the Second World War tended to be urban with straight rows of seats facing forward, a hierarchical arrangement of space, and a high raised bima. Those of you who grew up in either a synagogue or a church or a place of worship like that, raise your hand. You know, high bima, seats facing forward, not in the round like we are now. Okay. From the exterior, they often appeared fortress-like, with few, if any, windows. Who remembers Temple Akiba before there were windows here? Okay. I'm not saying it wasn't beautiful. It's just how it was at that time. Following the Second World War, synagogue construction burgeoned within the suburbs. Most of these new Reform and conservative shuls were practical and efficient, reflecting both the modernist spirit of the era and the limited budgets of young post-war families. While these spaces met the needs and desires of their communities at the time, today's synagogue spaces realize different modes of spirituality and resonate with much of the sacred architecture of the Mishkan. The Mishkan was the ancient tabernacle. Her commentary goes on to talk about the Mishkan of old and making prayer spaces today. What's important for us to remember and to keep in mind is this. Whether you enter a synagogue or a church or whatever your prayer space is, and expect to be awed by the humongous, immense presence of the space, or if you go into somewhere that's Hamish and small and familiar, you can find holiness in each one. If you walk into a grand auditorium, you might have the feeling of being just a speck of dust in the world. And sometimes being awed comes from that realizing how small we are. And if you go into a space that is a small little booby space, you might be overwhelmed with just how much of an imprint you can have on your world and your surroundings. It's not either or, it's both and. And our challenge, all of our challenge, is to find in any space that we are that sacred part of our soul that can accept the beauty that's out there. As we enter time in our own private space now, our own private prayers, find that mishkan of your soul, the sacred voice that's inside of you. How is that voice going to help you to communicate with those you don't see eye to eye with? How is that voice going to help propel you in a world which sometimes seems to be against you? How is that voice going to comfort you if you're thinking about a loved one who has died? And how is that voice going to utz you to reach out beyond your comfort zone and make the world a little bit better? Let's all find that mishkan, that private space inside of us, as we enter our own personal prayers in a moment of silence. Next year, our rabbinic convention is going to be in the Bay Area. And as part of the convention committee, which is a 5-year commitment, Cantor, why didn't you tell me to say no? We already began brainstorming. And one of the spiritual issues that we realize with the Bay Area is that it's filled with bridges. And there's a metaphor about connecting one person to another person, one country to another country. And bridges have the ability to both bring together as well as divide. The piece of liturgy that we've chosen as we come out of this moment of our prayer is called Gesher Tsar Ma'od, and it means that the entire world can be seen as a narrow bridge, but we cannot allow fear to get in the way of crossing that bridge. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar ma'od, v'ha'ikar lo lefachet klal.
Page 339.
Be open to page 253. Right in the center of the page is our prayer for healing. And this gives us an opportunity to think about those who you love, who could use an extra hug of wholeness at this time. It could be a prayer for healing. It could be a prayer for well-being. We'll share the first part of the prayer together, and at the center of the prayer, when my eyes meet yours, if there are names you'd like to share out loud for us to think of as a congregation, please do. It's now my honor to invite forward, representing our congregation, Verna Erez. Verna is a member of our Board of Trustees representing our sisterhood, but she's here this evening not only for Shabbat, but also to welcome everyone who's here. Verna, Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome, everybody, and Shabbat Shalom. I would like to thank Kavi Flegel, is that pronounced correctly? And his family for leading the service. Kavi, in particular, doing a wonderful job so far, and I'm sure tomorrow he also will have a wonderful experience with his bar mitzvah. The Flegel family, I'd like to thank them all for lighting the candles and also for leading the Kiddush. A few events that are coming up. Torah study is in person and online on Saturday morning from 9 to 10. A study of ecclesiastics, a class led by Rabbi Friedman, will be on Tuesday at 6 p.m. in the boardroom, in person, and also on Zoom. Men's group is presenting something that's called the Folk Rock Music of Laurel Canyon on Saturday, April 5th. It will feature cantor Lonnie and Craig Newman and the Kabbalat Shabbat Band. It covers the popular music from the 60s and the 70s. And a lot of these musicians were associated with the Laurel Canyon area. Sisterhood is presenting on Sunday, April 6th from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m., Mahjong. And this is Mahjong for those who have recently learned in the last year or so. And it's an opportunity for all of those people, including myself, to get together and practice their Mahjong and not be threatened by a major tournament that we have twice a year. There will be a deep dive into the Passover Haggadah with Rabbi Shapiro. Part 1 is Saturday, April 5th from 9 to 10 during Torah study. And part 2 is Sunday, April 6th from 9:30 to 10:30 during Judaism in 60 minutes. Passover morning service will be April 13th at 10:30 a.m. And we're having the second night Passover Seder, Sunday, April 13th at 5 p.m. here. Also one other thing that I forgot to mention, Camp Akiba's 60th birthday bash weekend is Friday, April 25th, Saturday and Sunday of that weekend. And after the service is over, everyone here is invited to come to the social hall for refreshments. And thank you, and again, Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Verna. Shabbat Shalom. Michael, thank you to you and our choir for leading us in such beautiful music and creating space for prayer that was truly golden tonight. So we appreciate it. Our worship continues with our concluding prayers, beginning with the Aleinu on page 282. We're about halfway down the page. We invite the congregation to rise once again.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula le'aseh breshit, shelo asanu pugiyei ha'aratzot, ve'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz hayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. As we prepare for the Mourner's Kaddish, let's turn to page 290, page 290. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and, oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me. Your laugh once lifted me. Your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. We remember now those in our community who have died, who will always live upon us from our eternal resting space and from their eternal resting space. We don't say Kaddish for him tonight, but we do remember beloved friend and colleague Rabbi Stan Davids, who was a tour de force, not only for Reform Judaism, but for Judaism throughout the world. A proud member and supporter of ARTSA, the Association of Reform Zionists of America, he fed our souls with deep meaning for what it means to be a people of Israel. A scholar of Torah and a scholar of thought, he inspired us to go farther, to reach deeper, and to aim higher. His funeral will be this Monday at Wilshire Boulevard Temple, the historic campus in Mid-City. And we also do not say Kaddish for her, although because she has not had her funeral service yet, but our hearts go out to the Finkelstein family. Mark's mother, Anita, died in this past week, and so we hold the entire family in our hearts. During this period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, we will be saying Kaddish for Art Pizer, who was 100 years old when he died, Dolores Volpe, and Raul Benasaya. Is there anyone else who is observing the first 30 days of mourning?
Merritt Elliott Tuccian.
Jane Bierman. Elaine Sokol. We add to their names the yard sites, the anniversaries of the deaths that occur on this Shabbat, beginning with those who have plaques in our Erfrig Memorial Room. Edith Aronson, Leo Bihar, Manya Belos, Samuel Dictor, Henry David Grief, Esther Rain, Mary Rubenstein, Barnett Schwartz, Louis Scharf, Morris Spivak. We also remember Lillian Bell, Ellen Birnbaum, Marianne Fenster, Sandor Finta, Susan Gethner, Lee Getty, Max Galler, Sadie Gorman, Saul Hassan, Eula Havensack, Tessie Hirschman, Barbara Hochberg, Fanny Hosman Kopp, Jerry Jacobs, Fred Jamner, Isidore Jamner, Libby Kent, Sandra Kleinberg, Joseph Lafferman, Helen Lavender, Louis Levinson, Louise Levy, Sidney Levy, Judith Miller, Ruth Morris, George Orling, Myrna Pizer, Frida Potash, Herbert Rosenberg, Francis Savitt, Constance Schoenfeld, Miriam Shapiro, Nathan Spector, Ethel Spicer, Norel Taylor, James Tripack, Bill Turner, Louis Vodovos, Harriet Waxman, Sandy Whittower, Harold Zinn, Salem Zurich. Are there additional yard sites those here are observing? Turning to page 294, we rise for our mourners' Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Yomad divrach chorotei v'yamlich malchotei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagalau v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach leolam omei omaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shemei t'kudusha barichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who causes peace to be known in the high heavens help us understand that by reaching out to one another, we create peace on earth as well. For all Israel and for all humanity, we say, Amen. Please be seated. We're going to close with the singing of Oseh Shalom. And one additional teaching that I learned was from our Israeli Reform colleagues who came from Israel as part of the convention. And when they sing Oseh Shalom, there's a chorus that says, Ya'aseh Shalom, or Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, which means, may the one, God, make peace, or may the world make peace. There's a growing tradition among progressives in Israel that says, no, we don't need someone out there to make peace. We need it to change to Na'aseh Shalom. We will work to make peace. And I thought that was a brilliant, how one letter can make a difference. A brilliant change from Ya'aseh Shalom to Na'aseh Shalom. Now, we're going to sing Oseh Shalom now. We don't expect everyone to make that change now because it might be ingrained in you to sing it one way. But to even just emotionally think about what it can mean if we don't expect someone else to work for peace, but if we roll up our sleeves and pursue it ourselves, how that can change the world. The words are right there at the very end of the Mourner's Kaddish on 294. Say Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Kavi, Ben, Radhika, come on forward. We're going to end with a motzi. We'd like you to help us break bread. Have each of your parents hold it,
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei